Hello, my name is Kat.
My name is Mia.
And my name is Mackenzie.
And welcome to
The Couch Potato Lab,
the show where we bring the science to your homes. Let's meet the scientists here with me today. To my left, who do we have?
Hi, my name is Mia. My pronouns are she, her. And a fun fact about me is on Monday I said that I've been to 19 countries. And the craziest thing that I've done is in the Philippines, I went helmet diving.
Whoa, helmet diving?
What is that? I've never
Well,
heard of that.
yeah. So basically you just put a helmet on and then you go deep under the water so you can look at the fish and everything underneath. And somehow with the pressure, there's just no water goes into the helmet.
Do you
It's
still have
kinda
to wear
scary.
an oxygen tank like
No.
in scuba diving?
No?
No, that's your oxygen
What?
tank. Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
But, okay, is there a tube that, connects
yeah,
to...
there's
okay.
a tube that connects to the boat.
Whoa.
That's
Yeah.
very cool.
Wow, how am I supposed to follow that up? So, hi, my name is Kat. My pronouns are she, her. My fun fact is that I once hula hooped for 10 minutes in a grade 9 phys ed class, and I could have gone another 10 minutes. That's for sure. Yep, not helmet diving, but I was just having fun. Okay, and the scientist to my right, who do we have?
Hello, everyone. My name is Mackenzie. My pronouns are she, her. And a fun fact about me is that I know you're used to hearing my voice like this.
But I can also talk like this.
What?
And you know what? Yeah, you might be able to hear it a little later on in the show. I might bring it back for a little something, but you're going to have to follow along and if you want to hear a little bit more of that. But before we get started, I just want to recognize that as a program and this live stream is coming to you live from Treaty 4 territory, and that is home of the Nehewak, Nakaway, Nakota, Lakota, Dakota, as well as the homeland of the Métis-Michif Nation. Now, we recognize that our audience is diverse and comes from many different places, so we invite you just to take a moment now to recognize where you are and what land you're situated on and where you're going to be learning with us today. Now, what are you guys doing? Hello?
Sorry.
Oh,
Did
sorry.
you not see me here? I can see what you're doing.
We just had some top secret eyes information we needed to talk about.
Okay. You know what? This is making me sad. It's not nice to tell science secrets. We all want to know the facts. And don't you know what they say?
What did they say?
They say science secrets are no fun. Science secrets hurt someone. And you know what? That kind of hurt me because I could see you guys doing that and talking about these science secrets, but I couldn't hear you. And yeah, so what were you saying?
We're just talking about our last episode that we did together on Monday and how fun it was to learn all about the nervous system. So I mean, you were there. We just didn't want to interrupt you, and
Okay.
you know, because you were.
Okay.
We
okay,
appreciate the science that you were providing everyone at home at that time.
Okay, I get it. You know what? I'll let them off easy this time. I won't get too upset. They're right. I was there. I'll let it slide this time. And the reason, I'm not that upset because I know exactly what was happening there. And although I don't know exactly what they were saying, I know why they could hear each other because they were sitting apart from each other. They were just talking into a cup with a string attached to it. And what was happening is they were talking into it, so they were producing sound as they were talking. And now sound, I know we kind of think of it as loud noises and stuff, but sound is actually a vibration. So it's a bunch of vibrations together, and it travels in something called a sound wave. Now, these sounds, these different vibrations, they all get sent up, and then we hear it, and that's how we're hearing all of these different things. So the main things that we want to remember there are that, number one, sound is a vibration, and number two, sound travels in sound waves. So that's exactly what was happening with that cup and the strings, is that the vibration was getting sent through the string, and then it was coming out the other end a sound, so Mia could hear it as well. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't hear it, but luckily the sound travels in lots of different waves, in different waves and different frequencies and pitches. And we're going to learn a little bit about that later in a later episode as well. But today we're going to be talking all about the sound and the different vibrations and how it travels. So I'm really excited to hear what we have to say. Get it?
Ah,
Here.
very funny.
Yeah.
Mackenzie, you said sound travels in waves and it has different frequencies. Mia, can we see sound? Can I see it?
Well, I have this cool demo right here, and this will allow us to actually see sound. So basically, I have a bowl with saran wrap over it, and then we have some rice on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play music out of this speaker, and we're going to see what happens. So let's check it out. I have to turn it on.
Battery 70%.
We got the battery
Whoa.
all charged up. Crank it up, Mia.
Oh, there we go. Woo!
It's moving.
Whoa.
Whoa.
It's right there. Okay.
Whoa!
So, right in this area, I don't know if you could see very well, but the rice was moving up and down there. And so basically what was happening is the sound waves from the speaker were going on to the rice, and it was making the rice move.
So the rice was having its own dance
it was
party
having
there.
its own dance party.
Wow.
That is very cool. So it turns out I guess we can see waves. So the actual wave is invisible, but when it hits something else, it can make it move. So the different vibrations can make it move.
Wow. Now, Mackenzie, I see this giant. Did you steal this from a lamppost outside on the street? What is this green, yellow, red light thing here?
This thing right here, this is my friend, the Yacker Tracker. So sound, we know that sound, it's very varied. There's lots of different, I showed you before my different voices, so it can sound different, but there's actually different volumes as well. So if I talk really quiet like this, if I'm whispering, it's kind of hard to hear me. Or I can yell really loud, and then I'm really loud, and you're probably telling me to tone it down. Now, all of these different volumes are measured in decibels, and that's how we measure sound. Now, this little thing right here, it's called a Yacker Tracker, and what it does is it measures sound and the decibels that it hears. So, if it's, we set a different like tolerance level, so if we say that our decibels may be 10, if we're staying within like a 8 and under, it's going to be green. If we get pretty close to that 10, it's going to go to the yellow, and if we get even higher than that, the decibels that we set it to, it's going to go off and there's an alarm. Now, sometimes, I'm sure you've all experienced this before. Maybe you're having, it's Friday and you got your catch-up hour. You're catching up on all your different work that you have to finish in your classroom throughout the week, and you're getting really excited. You're talking about your weekend plans with all your friends, and it gets really, really noisy, and your teacher says you need to tone it down. That's probably because the decibel level in there is really high, and you need to bring it back down to the green or the yellow. So we're going to try to see how much noise we can make and see the different decibels of this Yacker Tracker. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. All right.
Oh.
So you can see it's at green right now.
Whoa.
Now if I start talking, it's at the yellow. Now if I talk really loud, so it goes off. So if I talk really loud, it's going to go off. Oh, hello, hello, hello.
Yeah.
So you can see that depending on how loud I talk, the Yacker Tracker goes off. So let's just do this one more time. It's telling me I need to be a little quieter. So, okay. So this is just silence. Now I'm going to change my noisemaker and see if we can set this thing off. Do you think we can do it?
I think with that. Whoa.
It went off. One
Too
more
loud.
time.
All right, one more
Okay.
time.
All right,
Wow.
so this Yacker Tracker here, it's tracking the different levels of sound, the different volume in the room. So it's measuring the decibels. And that is how we determine if it's really loud or not very loud. And it's actually really important that we're keeping track of these different volume levels and different decibels, because if you listen to something really loud or you're in a really, really loud space, that if it's really loud, it can actually damage our hearing. And we want to make sure we're not doing that, because hearing is something that allows us to communicate and hear different things around us. So it's important that we're paying attention to the different decibels in the places that we are, and making sure that we're protecting our ears and our hearing from really, really loud noises.
Now, we have a question here. What is vibration? Mia, do you know what vibration is?
Well, I'm just got the answer from headquarters here, so I'm just going to read it. And it says that vibration is a periodic back and forth motion of the particles of an elastic body or medium, commonly resulting when almost any physical system is displaced from its equilibrium condition.
Now, we have another question here. With what Mackenzie was just talking about, those decibels, what decibel levels are bad, Mackenzie?
Yeah, so if there's noise above 70 decibels, if you're in that room or you're exposed to that level of noise, so 70 decibels for a prolonged or a long period of time, it can damage your hearing over time. Now, if you're in a place that has 120 decibels on average, if you're exposed to that, that can cause immediate damage right there. So you don't even need to be in that room for a really long time. So maybe it's like one loud bang. If it's over 120 decibels, it can damage your hearing permanently and right away. So it's really important that we're being very careful. So that's why there's different things like earmuffs and things like that that can help us protect our ears from those really, really loud sounds over time, and just if there's going to be a loud noise coming up.
And I believe there are actually free decibel tracker apps that you can get. So if you are curious about maybe how loud is the TV that I'm listening to is an appropriate level, you can get an app and it will tell you exactly how many decibels that volume level is. So you can track that to see if you're staying in that safe range or if you're maybe getting a little bit too loud. We're talking about hearing, but we need to get to the source of the hearing, right? We need to talk about our ears.
Yes.
Mackenzie, can you start us off?
Yes, of course. So we're talking all about sound and hearing. And if we didn't have our ears, the sound would just be floating around and we wouldn't ever be able to listen to it. So what's happening is these vibrations are making their way through what we call the auditory canal. So we have a graphic here, and it's going to show all of the different parts and the different pathways. So you can see it's labeled 1 to 5. And all of those different numbers, that's a different part of the auditory canal that's really, really important. So we're going to go through these kind of step by step so we can explain exactly what's happening from the moment that sound wave or vibration hits the ear at number 1 all the way through to number 5. So let's start at number 1. So what's happening there is we have our vibration, and it's hitting what we call our eardrum. So number 1, that's our eardrum. And the vibration is hitting that, and then it's kind of like narrowing through and starting down the canal. Now, once we get to number 2, you can see there's those 3 tiny little bones. Now, those 3 tiny little bones, those are called our ossicles. Now, our ossicles all have to do with vibrations. And those vibrations are kind of moving fluids. So if we can just take a look back here, we're going to kind of do a little demo to kind of explain what these 3 bones are going to do. So I have 3 cups here. Now, there is those 3 bones, and they're really small. They're some of our smallest bones in our body, actually. And they're kind of hitting each other and causing different vibrations. And right behind those bones, there's some fluid, and that's going to be in our cochlea that Kat's going to talk about in just a minute. But I just want you to remember that there's fluid in there. So I have 1 cup that has some water in it, so that's going to be like our fluid, and we're going to pretend that this fluid is just beyond this bone. And we have 3 cups. Those are going to represent our bone. So what's happening is I was saying that those waves are vibrations, so we're going to pretend that they're moving and vibrating because of the sound wave. And what's happening is they're going to hit that last bone, and you can see that it causes this fluid to move. And the similar thing is happening within our 3 bones. So if you hit the 3 bones together, they're going to vibrate and move the fluid, and the way the pattern and how everything moves differently, that is causing the different sounds in what we hear in our ear. So we went from our eardrum to our ossicles. Now, where do we go next?
So the next part we go is the cochlea. So let's bring that graphic back up here. And you can see that number 3. So that is the cochlea. So the movement of those bones, where that number 2 is, that Mackenzie was talking about. So that makes the fluid inside that cochlea, that seashell spiral shape, begin to move.
All right. Yeah, so that one kind of does look like a seashell. And it is connected to number 4 as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the eardrum, the ossicles, and then we have the cochlea. And then number 4, inside that cochlea, there's a bunch of different hairs. And the movement of the fluid and those hairs, it kind of makes them move and bend in different ways. So it's all about the different vibrations and how it bends. Now, Mia, you know a little bit more about this, right?
Yeah. So, as Kenzie said, number 4 has to do with the hair, and because of the fluid in the cochlea, it makes it move and bend. And now if you look at number 5, it's like this little tube right there at the end of the ear. And so because the hair is able to bend, it makes these electric pulses. And these electric pulses go and transfer into our nerves, and that goes straight to our brain. And our brain takes these signals, and it makes it sound.
Wow. And if looking at that graphic too, you can see how small our inner ear canal is. And that's why they say don't stick Q-tips on the inside of your ear, because you're going to push your earwax in, and you have the possibility of damaging that precious, precious eardrum that we need so badly to hear. And you can actually test your hearing online. If you look up free hearing tests online, there are certain websites that will have where you can test. And actually the higher, so how it works is they'll have like a buzzing sound, and it'll be kind of like a normal pitch, like maybe like but as you test your hearing, that pitch will get higher and higher until it's like ah! And as it goes higher and higher, that's where our hearing gets lost for some people. So it starts at those really, really high-pitched sounds that we lose first. So maybe we lose that just with age, or maybe you've had some kind of ear damage, and that's where it's going to be lost. So that's why they say when you talk to elderly people or people that are hard of hearing, that it's better to talk in a low voice, because if you talk in a really high-pitched voice, they might not be able to hear you. Yeah, so if you're talking to elderly people or people who are hard of hearing, that's why we want to try and talk in a lower pitched voice. Now, Mia, sometimes when I've gotten really dizzy, my mom or my doctor says, oh, it might be with my ears. I don't understand. I thought, how does that make me dizzy?
Yeah. So the vestibular system has to do a lot with balance. So basically, every time you move your head or do any movements with your head, then your inner ear has to know this is happening and be able to keep you on balance. So if I shift my head, I still have to be able to be on balance and not fall over. So that's basically what it does. But with dizziness and stuff, like let's do an example.
Okay.
Kat, spin in your chair.
Okay.
Whoa, she's gonna be dizzy.
Okay.
Spin, 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 spin.
And then after,
Whoa.
try to stand up.
Whoa, oh.
Oh.
Oh, goodness.
Oh no, I need to sit down.
How do you feel?
I feel dizzy. I don't feel like I could hold my balance at all.
Yeah, exactly. So this all has to do with our inner ear and where the cochlea is, with the fluid, and it has to do with these 3 little loops that all come together in our ear, and this helps keep our balance. And so when you're spinning and stuff, then you get dizzy and they're kind of out of balance. But this also has to do with something called vertigo. So vertigo can be like if you're standing and you feel like you're spinning, or you feel like the world around you is spinning. So this can also have to do with ear infections. So if you have an ear infection, you can experience vertigo for seconds or for hours, just depending on the person. So yeah, basically that's what it is.
So that's why we get dizzy if I spin around, and it's because of that fluid in my ear. Oh, wow. Mia, I would like to learn, like, how can I protect my ears from these really loud sounds? Sometimes I'm walking outside, or, I've had jobs before where I have to wear hearing protection. Well, can we make that here at home?
You bet, Kat. We have talked a lot about the hearing and why it's so important that we protect our ears, because they do have those different tolerance levels and those different decibel tolerances. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make our own soundproof earphones. So sometimes you might see people, or maybe young kids and babies, and if they're in a really loud place, they might be wearing they look like earmuffs. And those are like noise canceling headphones or different earmuffs that you can wear to make it so it doesn't sound so loud. So they're kind of giving your ears that extra level of protection. So we're going to make our own today, and we're going to try them out with different materials to see what kind of keeps the sound out the most. So what kind of insulating material we want in there to keep the sound out. So kind of to block the waves is pretty much what we're doing. So we're going to start with 2 cups. So you're going to want probably, it works best if they're plastic cups. If you don't have plastic cups, you can try to use reusable cups too as well. You just won't cut them then. So if I leave the cup like this, it's a little bit too big for my ear. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut it so it's a little bit smaller. So I'm just going to cut it all the way around so that it's a little bit of a tighter fit to my ear.
You can see that Mia has her cups nice and cut so that they are going to fit snugly around her ears.
Yes. And now that I have cut my glasses, if there's any pointy edges, like for example right here there's a little bit of a pointy edge, you could take some tape and you could just cover that up so you don't hurt your ears.
Yeah, so I'm going to do the same thing that Mia was just talking about, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to cover up my pointy edges here. Just on the edges, because we want to make sure that when we put them over our ears, we're not going to poke ourselves with the edges. So just going to grab a little bit more tape and do that last edge. And you can do the same thing at home as well. So there we go. Got that one done. You can see it there. Looks good. All right, and then I'm just going to do it to the other one as well. My tape is being stubborn today. Oh, there we go. Perfect. All right, and I just have a little pointy edge on this one, so I'm actually not going to go all the way around because the other ones look pretty good. Now, there's nothing in these right now, so this would just be putting a little tiny bit of protection over my ear. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to test these headphones with different materials. So we're going to actually stuff some materials inside there and then see what we can hear and what we can't hear. So what kind of sound it blocks out and which it doesn't. So I think for my first material, I'm actually going to stuff some cotton balls in both of my cups. So I'm just going to put a generous amount there.
I'm going to put paper towel in my cups as well.
All right.
All right, Mackenzie, your cups are ready for testing?
Yes.
All right. And Mia, are your cups ready for testing?
Yes.
All right, let's put those up to our ears.
Okay, no science secrets this time, okay?
Okay.
Because I might not be able to hear it.
Okay, I promise
Okay.
no science secrets.
Okay.
because Science secrets are for everyone. All right. You ready? Got those to your ears? And I'm going to talk real loud. I'm going to say something crazy and fun. Effie the elephant is in the studio today.
I heard Ellie the elephant is in the lab today.
Not quite. Mia, what did you hear?
I feel like I could hear you. I think you said Effie the elephant is in the studio today.
That is right. That is what I said. So it seemed like your paper towel blocked my sound waves and my sound vibrations better than the cotton balls that Mackenzie had.
Okay, that makes sense because these are just a bunch of little ones put together. So I'm going to switch my material now. I'm going to use some socks. So I brought some socks from home. So I'm going to stuff some socks in here.
Are they stinky socks or are they fresh, clean socks, Mackenzie? Oh no.
Pew, they're not very, they're kind of smelly.
Oh no.
Whoopsie.
At least they're going around your ears, not up to your nose.
This is true. I'm very glad that we're
Yeah.
doing a hearing experiment, not a smelling experiment.
No kidding. Oh my goodness, I can smell them from here. Oh no.
Oh, goodness.
All right, Mia, what do you have?
I am going to put some sponges in mine. And we'll see
Okay.
how that works.
We ready to test these ones out?
Yes.
Yeah, you got it. All right.
All right. Eyes at headquarters called, and they want Mia and Mackenzie to smell Mackenzie's socks. All right. Did you hear it?
Oh, wait, you're done talking?
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't hear you talking at all.
What? Really?
I heard nothing.
Wow. Mia,
Wow.
did you hear anything?
I heard smelly socks, and that's all I heard.
Ooh,
Okay.
Mia wants to smell my socks. Is that what you said? Mia wants to smell my socks?
No, I said that Eyes headquarters wants Mia and Mackenzie to smell Mackenzie's socks.
So, Mia, do you wanna?
No, thank
Are
you.
you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
Okay, after the show, we'll get Mia to smell my socks.
So your socks were really good at stopping the sound there.
They were, yes. So they must have absorbed a lot of the sound. Now, I have one more thing I kind of want to test out here. So I have tinfoil, and I'm actually very eager. I'm very excited to see what this is like. So I'm going to go ahead and stuff some tinfoil into my cups here, and we'll test that out. Perfect. All right, mine are ready to go with this material.
All right. And Mia, do you want to test your empty cups?
Yeah, so I don't have any more materials, so I am just going to test nothing in the cups and see
Okay.
what happens.
All right.
All right, last test. Are we ready? Let's
Yeah.
get
Oh,
those up
yes.
to our ears. All right, ready? Science secrets are for everyone.
I know what you said.
You know what I said?
Yeah. You said science secrets are for everyone.
Yes.
I
Mia-
heard that
you heard
too.
it? Okay, so obviously nothing in the cups didn't really stop the sound, and the aluminum foil didn't really stop the sound that well either.
No, it didn't really. So, I think in this experiment, I can conclude that my socks worked the best. So, I'm going to say that my socks were the best, then my cotton balls, then my tinfoil, because I could hear pretty much everything you were saying with the
Yeah.
tinfoil, but I could hear nothing with the socks.
Now, Mackenzie, if I want to try this at home, do I need to use smelly socks too to get the best result, or can they be clean socks?
You know what? I'm going to say that clean socks would probably work just as good, but you know what? Test it out. Just be careful. Maybe do it in some fresh air, because, sometimes those smelly socks can really get you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you definitely must have had the best headphones because you couldn't hear a thing I was saying, right?
No, I couldn't. I have no idea what you said. By the way, what did you say again?
I think I said that Eyes headquarters wants me and Mackenzie to smell Mackenzie's socks.
Right. I just wanted you to remind me, because I cannot forget to make sure that Mia smells my socks before I go home. I'm not letting that go. I'm definitely remembering that now.
Now,
Yeah.
we do have a question here from Theo. My dad says his ears are always ringing. Why is that? Scientists. Mia, do you know why?
Well, there's an answer here. It says tinnitus, perception of noise or ringing in the ears. A common problem is affected by 15 to 20% of people. Tinnitus isn't a condition itself, it's a symptom of an underlying condition such as age-related hearing loss, ear injury, or a circulatory system disorder.
I think I've had ringing in my ears sometimes. Sometimes if I go to a really loud concert or if my classroom is way too loud, sometimes my ears ring after, but it goes away. Now, Mackenzie, you were talking about like your socks, they absorb the sound really well. Now, do all things like absorb sound the same?
That's a great question, Kat. Now, that is exactly why some things in our headphones blocked out the noise better than others, because so the socks, they could absorb more of the sound and stop it from bringing into our ear. So I kind of like to think of it like a filter. So it filtered out a lot of the sound. It kind of stopped a lot of those waves before it even hit my eardrum. And the same goes for the cotton balls. Now, obviously, the tin foil didn't have the same absorption. It didn't absorb a lot of the sound, so it just didn't stop it. So I'm actually going to demonstrate this by bouncing a ball. Now, if I bounce this ball, you would think that no matter what I bounce it on, it's going to make the same sound. And that's true, but it sounds different because the material that we're dropping it on has a different sound absorption. So it's absorbing a different amount of the sound. So I'm going to drop it on this table, and we're going to listen very carefully to what it sounds like. All right, so we kind of got what that one sounds like. Now I'm going to go ahead and drop it on this pot. See what it sounds like. So it sounds a little bit, I would say, more high pitch, a little bit different. Now I'm actually going to go and drop it on the carpet. So you might not be able to see this one as well, but we're going to try to hear it. So it doesn't really sound like a lot. And that's because the carpet, the table, and the pot, they all have different sound absorption. So I made sure I dropped it from the same height, but it sounded different because the sound being absorbed by the material itself was different. So it's really important when we're thinking about sound to also think about what's around that's absorbing the sound. So sometimes, like when you're making music, if you're recording a song, you go into a soundproof room, or even here at the studio, we have different soundproof rooms so that we can't hear what's going on in there. And that's because there's different insulation and different things that kind of surround the room that are going to absorb all that sound so that it doesn't make it past it and through the walls to other places. So that is how soundproof rooms work as well.
So these sounds, they have to get into our ears. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I saw that like human ears are not the same as dog's ears or bird ears or even shark ears. All these ears are different, and they're all adapted to better suit whoever ear they belong to. For example, if we look at a human ear, so maybe let's get a close shot of Mackenzie's ear.
I got a model ear right here ready to show you.
Yes, so the outer part of our ear is actually perfectly made to help collect sound and direct it towards the inner part of our ear, that nice inner canal, and inside the head toward all those bones that we talked about earlier, the ossicles, so that we can hear sound and have those electrical impulses transmitted to our brain so that we can hear. And the shape of our ear actually helps, so it directs that sound towards the inner cannula. It actually also helps make the sound louder, and it helps us figure out what direction the sound is coming from. So I can figure out, is Mackenzie talking to me on my right, or is Mia talking to me on my left? And then say, for example, we look at a bat ear. We have a lovely image of a bat ear here. And if you look at this bat ear, it is specially adapted to a bat so that bats can use their echolocation to help figure out where their food is, where their other bat friends are, and figure out where other predatory animals are for bats. Now, we do have a question here. What animal has the best hearing? This was sent in from Hannah. Thank you, Hannah. So, scientists, do you know which animal has the best hearing?
Well, I've heard that a lot of scientists say it's actually moths. So moths have hearing that's evolved over many years. And moths as well use echolocation just like bats do to kind of sense where their prey is. So yeah, moths have really great hearing.
Wow. That moths, like tiny moths that I always see flying, they always fly into the light. They have a good hearing?
Yep, you got that.
Wow. Now, I talked about echolocation there. Mia, how do we use echolocation? Do I use it? Do animals use it?
Yeah. So echolocation is basically just sound waves that help us find objects in space. So humans for sure use it to find objects in our environment, or to use objects in our environment. For example, just like tapping the table. That could be one. But animals, a lot of animals also use echolocation. like Kat said earlier, bats use it to find food in the dark. But dolphins also use it so that they can see better underwater.
Really? They use
Yeah.
it to help them see.
They use it to help them see, yes.
Now, Kat, I just want to clarify one thing.
Yeah.
A few minutes ago, I said that moths use echolocation, and I got it backwards. So moths don't use echolocation. Instead, their hearing is so good, and it helps them to stay away from the threat of bats. So a lot of bats eat moths, and bats do have echolocation, but because moths have such great hearing, they use their hearing to kind of sense where these bats are and where they are, so they have really great hearing. But they use it to kind of like block the bat's echolocation instead to keep them safe from their prey.
Wow, seriously?
Yep, you got it.
Wow, just when the bats thought they had it all figured out, the moths, they said, not today. Scientists say we have the best hearing and you're not going to eat us.
That is right.
All right, folks, it is time for our Science Showdown. All right, so for today's Science Showdown, Mackenzie and Mia, we're going to see how good our ears are and see if we can tell who's talking and where they're coming from. So we're going to start with Mackenzie. So
All
Mackenzie,
right.
you're going to have to close your eyes,
Okay.
and one of us is going to talk, and you're going to have to figure out which one of us is talking, and then you're going to have to point to us. Are we over there? Are we in that corner? Are we in this corner? You have to figure it out, okay?
Okay. I'm going to close my eyes and put my hands over my eyes. I'm ready when you are. My ears are on. I'm going to go with right over there and cat.
Oh, you got me.
Yes.
Alright.
Oh, that was pretty good.
Okay. I'm
All right, now
impressed.
Mia's
Now
gonna
me.
Mia's gonna get you.
Okay. I got my
Okay,
eyes
close
closed.
your eyes.
Yep.
Hello.
Um.
Hello.
Okay, so I know it's Mia. I'm going to say underneath my table?
Yeah.
Oh, pretty close.
Oh.
Pretty close. All right. It's crazy how our ears can not only pick up the sound and allow us to try to figure out who's talking, but also where they are. Because I could tell the difference that I definitely knew that Mia wasn't at her table. I know she tried to trick me, but my ears could not be fooled. We knew the difference.
Okay, now let's try Mia.
Okay.
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 Close your eyes. All right.
Hello. Hello.
Whoa. Okay, I think it's coming from that direction.
Who is it? Who is it?
I think it's Mackenzie's other person, other ego.
Ah, you got me. I tried using my tricky voice.
Yeah.
I tried using my
But
tricky voice to
because-
trick you.
Because at the beginning of the show you used that, I was like, that has to be Mackenzie.
My fun fact gave away my trick.
Uh,
Well, I don't know if that was a fun fact. I think that was a give it away fact. But that's okay. Good job, Mia.
yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, now I'm gonna try with Mia. Okay, close your eyes. Ready?
Mm-hmm. I think it's right there.
Oh, you got me.
Oh,
yeah. 2 for 2. Good job.
Okay, I think we should test Cat now.
Yeah.
Okay?
What?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
This is my show. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go. You shut your eyes. You're gonna have to figure out who it is. Let's go at the same time. Stand in your spot at the same time. Okay. Hello.
Was that one person or both?
Hello. I don't know. You tell us. Who was it? Mia or Mackenzie?
I heard it all around me. I heard it from both sides. What?
Dang it. We tried to trick you again. These
That was like
ears,
surround sound.
yeah, these ears are just so smart we can't even trick them. So you know what? I'm gonna go off on a limb and say we all have pretty good hearing because we all got it spot on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, if I can't hear that well, Mackenzie, are there any other resources or tools that I can use to communicate with other people other than just talking to them?
Yes, so sometimes there are different things that happen, different accidents, or maybe you're born with it, and that happens, and these people are sometimes hard of hearing, so they can't hear as well, or maybe they can't hear at all. So there's a couple of different things we can do. We can talk in different tones, so like Kat was saying before, you can talk really low, or you can talk really high, or you can use, we use a lot of different gestures, so maybe if you're like this, people would know to go away. Or if you're like this, people would know to come here. And that kind of has to do with a different language, and it's called sign language. So there is many different languages in the world, as we know, lots of different ones, but sign language is also a language. And people who are hard of hearing use this to communicate with each other with their hands. Now, do either of you know any sign language?
Well, fun fact, when I was in grade 4 at our Christmas concert, we learned Silent Night in sign language. Now, this was 50 years ago, so I will try to recall as much as I can. Shout out to Miss Herback back in the day for teaching us this. Okay, it was something like this. It was like Silent Night, Holy Night, all is calm, all is bright, round, young virgin, mother and child,
Wow.
holy infant. It was okay, and I hope that was accurate, but that's what they taught me when I was in grade 4 50 years ago.
All right. So, yes, as you can see, there are many different types of communication that we can use to communicate with people who are hard of hearing. And there's actually a lot of scientific advancements, too. So there's things like hearing aids and different things like that that we can use as well to help us hear different things and kind of make up for what our ears are lacking or what went wrong within that auditory canal. So using different actions, learning sign language, all those things, those can help us communicate with people as well.
It's very, very cool. And maybe I should go home and learn some different terms in sign language.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I should do the same.
All right, now, folks, it is time for our STEM Spotlight. So we're going to take a look at Tara Collins, an audiologist.
On today's STEM Spotlight, we would like you to meet Tara Collins. She's an audiologist in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. An audiologist is essentially a hearing doctor. They do things like hearing exams, help patients with their hearing aids, and help patients with their listening skills and speech understanding. Tara herself has a genetic disorder which impairs her hearing, so she also uses hearing aids. That means she really understands what patients are going through. She strives for awareness to hearing loss and how getting treated is more important than just suffering through it. What amazing work, Tara.
Wow, she was very cool. I really like, too, that she decides to kind of decorate her hearing aids to make them something, not to be ashamed of, but just, another part of yourself to accept and celebrate. Now it is time for our segment, Ask Our Scientist. The first question we have here, do dogs or cats hear better? Jackson is wondering. Mia, who is it? Dogs, cats?
Well, dogs and cats both can hear at the same ultrasound level, but cats can hear at 1 octave higher, which means that it's just like one range higher. So dogs could probably hear like lower, and then cats can hear higher.
So that's why when I go pss, 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 to a dog, it doesn't come. But when I go pss, 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 to a cat, it always comes because it can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay,
It all
that
makes sense
now.
now.
So I'm just going to go woof, 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 woof to a dog to get it to come. Or maybe carry some treats with me. Maybe it would come then. So next question here. What materials do actual noise-canceling headphones use? Mackenzie.
Yeah, that's a great question. So if you were to buy a pair of noise-canceling headphones, chances are they're packed with really high-density either rubber or different like foams and things like that. So it's really high density because all of those particles are really packed together, so it stops more of those sound waves. So high density rubber or foam.
All right. Next question here. How do hearing aids work? From Theo. Mia?
Yes. So hearing aids help people that cannot hear as well. So it basically just amplifies the sound and makes it louder so that you can hear. But so basically it goes through a microphone, and this microphone makes all these electrical signals, and it moves through, and so that it makes it louder coming out of the ear.
You know, I hope that in 10 years, when I'm 75, the hearing aid science will be so advanced that it won't even look anything like my grandma's hearing aids look like.
Crazy.
Yeah. Next question here for Mackenzie. What is earwax?
That's a great question. So earwax is produced on our outer ear, and there's different glands that secrete different waxy. It's almost like it's like a waxy, like almost like a fluid, but it's pretty dense. And this different wax has a couple different functions. So the first function is that it provides moisture, so it keeps us nice and moist in there so it doesn't dry out. It also helps fight off infections, so it releases some chemicals to fight off infections. And it also acts as a physical barrier between like the outside world and our eardrums, so it just helps us protect and fight off infections and also moisturizes our ear.
Well, very cool. So once again, remember, don't go digging in your ear with Q-tips. You gotta keep that on the outer part of the ear, and don't go into your ear canal because you don't want to hurt the stuff that helps you hear. Now, folks, it's been a wonderful time, wonderful episode with you, and we hope to see you for tomorrow's episode as well. Thank you very much.
Bye.